We're winging it in more ways than one this week on Red's Classic Theater. Hello and welcome to our program. We're on location at the Wild Birds Nature Shop on the King George Highway in White Rock. This unusual shop is dedicated to the care and feeding of wild birds. And we'll show you a lot more a little later on. Our movie this week is the 1953 blockbuster From Here to Eternity, starring Burt Lancaster and Deborah Kerr. And there was a controversy over the casting of Kerr, who was thought to be too refined to play an unfaithful army wife. Joan Crawford had the part all wrapped up, but fought with Columbia boss Harry Cohn over her wardrobe. So he fired her in favor of the less choosy Kerr. Kerr then spent weeks with a voice coach who helped make her English accent more American sounding. It was a big hit and won 8 Academy Awards, which was a record until Ben-Hur came along and won 11. Here's Act 1 of From Here to Eternity. This week on Red's Classic Theater, we're at the Wild Birds Nature Shop in White Rock. Now, if you're considering putting a bird feeder in your backyard, you'll find probably 1,000 kinds here. And they have a wide array of tube feeders. Now, the large ones are really handy because they can hold a week's supply of seed at one time. And the Wild Birds Nature Shop also has a wide variety of wooden bird feeders, including their own line of feeders made exclusively from second growth timber. Another big item at the shop is birdseed. They stock 12 varieties of birdseed, and they'll provide you with a menu that shows what the various species enjoy. But maybe you're interested in setting up a hummingbird feeder. Larry Steele and his staff will show you what to do and what not to do, and even give you a recipe for homemade nectar. When we return, we'll take an outdoor look at some bird feeders in action. Earlier this morning, Larry Steele took our Red's Classic Theater crew to the home of one of his customers to look at backyard feeders in action. Rosemary Wald of Surrey is a frequent customer of the Wild Birds Nature Shop, and her backyard is just one example on how you might turn your own backyard into a mini bird sanctuary. Whatever you're interested in, bird feeders, bird houses, bird baths, or even a feeding station for squirrels, you can get everything you need at the Wild Birds Nature Shop on Highway 99A in White Rock. And now let's return to From Here to Eternity. Hope you're enjoying From Here to Eternity as we explore the Wild Birds Nature Shop in White Rock. By 1953, motion pictures were wowing audiences with widescreen panoramas and the exciting new Technicolor process, which made From Here to Eternity an oddity for its time. It was filmed in basic 35mm and in black and white, which was sort of strange considering the beautiful Hawaiian settings. Burt Lancaster called the picture an enormous turning point in his career. He found Montgomery Clift an overpowering actor to play opposite, so intense was his concentration. Lancaster also recalled the many times Clift and Frank Sinatra would get roaring drunk and then rely on him to tuck them into bed at night. And Burt Lancaster recalled years later that Frank Sinatra referred to him as Mom, looking back at those days when Burt Lancaster handled them in a good-natured way. Now let's return From Here to Eternity, co-starring Donna Reed. Well, from the Wild Birds Nature Shop in White Rock, let's sit back and look at our mailbag. And thank you for sending these letters in. A request from Bruce Bailey of Camano Island in Washington. Thank you for that. Harold Britton of Richmond. Ann Randall of Victoria, the capital city of Vancouver Island. And our winner this week of a classic movie on video is Rogar Gagnon from Vancouver. How about that for my French, huh? Say if you have a particular movie you'd like to see, or, of course, an idea for a location, write to Red Robinson, Television 12 in Vancouver. Remember, we choose one entry each week to receive a classic movie video, compliments of our friends at 24-Hour Video. Next week, join us for Leslie Howard as the Scourge of the French Revolution in The Scarlet Pimpernel, a classic from 1935. At 2 weeks from tonight, Richard Dreyfuss and Marcia Mason match wits in Neil Simon's heartwarming comedy, The Goodbye Girl. Right now, let's return to From Here to Eternity. Hope you're enjoying From Here to Eternity on Red's Classic Theater. Getting cooperation from the U.S. Army in the making of tonight's film was difficult because of the film's open criticism of the service. And of course, getting help from the Japanese was out of the question. So the producers hired members of the U.S. Air National Guard to fly the Japanese planes in the attack on Pearl Harbor. The pay was good, but the pilots were shocked at the long hours and big risks they were expected to take. And they were very concerned when they learned that the film crew actually used real TNT in laying out the explosive charges that simulated bomb blasts and machine gun fire. Frank Sinatra's role as Maggio pulled his movie career back from the brink of oblivion, and he was so grateful for the opportunity, he offered to play the part for $8,000, which was a huge drop in pay from his usual fee of $150,000. And rumors were flying that Frank Sinatra only got the part as Maggio because of his connections to the mafia, a rumor that Frank Sinatra vehemently denied. Now let's return to the movie From Here to Eternity. From the Wild Birds Nature Shop in White Rock, time for a weekly movie trivia quiz. Can you name the last motion picture in which Burt Lancaster had a role? We'll be back with the answer in just a moment. Here's the answer to our trivia question. Burt Lancaster's last movie role was that of a kindly doctor in Field of Dreams. Now 80 years of age, Burt Lancaster resides in a nursing home after suffering a stroke in 1991. Now let's return to Burt Lancaster in From Here to Eternity. Well, that's a wrap for this week's edition of Red's Classic Theater. Hope you enjoyed From Here to Eternity, starring Burt Lancaster, Frank Sinatra, Deborah Kerr, and Donna Reed. Be sure to join us next week on Red's Classic Theater when we present Leslie Howard as the devilish hero of the French Revolution in The Scarlet Pimpernel. In the meantime, my offer's open. If you have a movie favorite or the suggestion of a location, drop me a note. Red Robinson Television 12 in Vancouver. And we'd like to thank Larry and Mary Lee Steele of the Wild Birds Nature Shop in White Rock for hosting our show this week. Come and visit them real soon. Join us next week for the Scarlet Pimpernel, and I'll be seeing you on 650 CL tomorrow morning, and we'll see you next week on Red's Classic Theater for the Scarlet Pimpernel. From White Rock, good night, everybody. From Here